Goe, Teton County. First, I'd like to echo what Hartley said about the fair. Just the portion I saw and participated in, I thought it was a very good fair, and I think it deserves the support of the commissioners for the future. We've got to do some things to help our economy when it comes to that time to attract people that would otherwise go to Jackson for their fair. The bleachers, that was an excellent move. It was really crowded at the races, the fourth pool, despite the impact that the weather had. But I think we need to support that fair board, and we need to get more people in here to help boost our economy during that season. With respect to the engineer, I've heard some arguments that I don't agree with. I'm not sure whether I wholly reject eliminating the position of the Public Works Director. I think with what we're looking at, where funds are needed to improve roads, etc. around here, we'd certainly look at realigning a good chunk of those dollars that go to the Public Works Directors and apply those to roads and other areas that need improvement here. I hear the argument about how much money, the millions of dollars that the Public Works Director brought in here. Well, that didn't happen. It was roughly $250,000 since our Public Director was hired that was brought in here. And when you look at and that's roughly $87K a year, nowhere near the salary that's argued that we pay our current Public Works Director. And when you look at how that salary is derived with 70-something $1,000 for salary plus the benefits, that brings it up to 104K line item. What isn't taken into consideration, what's never argued by people who talk about the salary of a Public Works Director, is the in-plant cost. When you look at the price of this courthouse here and the facilities that are provided to your employees, the desks, the electricity, the computers, the paperwork, the general administrative fees and all that, anybody that does contracting with the government knows that when you burden your labor rate, you include the salary, you include the benefits, you include the G&A, and you include the in-plant facilities, which typically run anywhere from 60% to 80% of the burden on a person's salary. So we're really looking at paying our current Public Works Director about $200,000 a year once you look at the burden labor rate. That's money that I think we could apply to our roads and bridges. Also, when you look at who's going to write the grants around here, who's going to mitigate, who's going to care for our public safety? Well, that's the reason we have our Emergency Services Director. We have a local emergency planning committee that meets once a month that includes all the department directors and our services personnel to comment on the planning, the response, the mitigation to all the issues that we could be faced with here. So when it comes to a public safety kind of thing, Greg Adams takes care of that, and the board that's invited to meet with him, they all support that. And he does a real good job mitigating the kinds of things that we're afraid of here. And really the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. We've heard that before. Greg writes most of the grants. I toured the Teton River here with Mike Klein last week, saw what was going on. I know that Greg wrote those grants, he brought in the money, and he does a good job writing grants to mitigate problems that we face ahead. And just one last thing, you have good department directors, you have good service personnel, you have good employees that work in this courthouse. And we need to have faith and trust in those people. If we're having problems with the landfill cap or road and bridge and that kind of thing, then why aren't we talking about firing those employees that actually have the boots on the ground to do that work? Let's give them a fair shake. Thanks.